I want you to try to picture this. You're a woman stepping in the boxing ring, lights blinding, and all you can hear is your thoughts. But across from you isn't another woman born with the same physical abilities. It was a woman who was once a man who carries biological advantages you can never train to match, such as greater bone density, muscle mass, reach, height, testosterone. Unfortunately, this isn't a made-up scene. These very similar scenarios are happening today everywhere, and such as boxing rings, Olympic swimming pools, volleyball courts, and also track and field tracks. On the other hand, supporters of allowing these transgender athletes to compete think differently. They argue that equality is needed for them to compete, and they should be allowed to compete with their said gender. What I think is that the real equality starts by not letting them compete, because it's unfair for them to have the different physical capabilities as them. Following that, I'll talk about why transgender athletes should not be allowed to compete in women's sports because of equality, safety concerns, and also ruining the history of women's sports. Many people don't realize the drastic advantage that these athletes have despite hormonal changes. Transgender women who have undergone hormone therapy still retain physical advantages developed during male puberty. A 2023 study in Endocrine Connections found that even after 36 months of gender-affirming hormone treatment, transgender women continue to have crucial advantages over biological women. They have advantages in sports such as track and field, weightlifting, and also swimming. These transgender athletes have more overall muscle mass, less body fat, larger skeletal muscles, larger hearts and lungs, and also more testosterone. Following that, women's sports were created with a clear But allowing these athletes to compete is not only unfair, it also severely dangerous, especially in contact sports such as boxing, rugby, and also American football. The UFA recently said that they were going to ban transgender athletes due to the reasons said in the last slide, because of their physical advantages such as larger reach, more testosterone, etc. Following that, the UFC also noted in some recent studies found that these transgender women also were banned due to their physical capabilities. Women's sports were created with a clear purpose: to provide females with a fair, level playing field. For decades, women have fought for recognition, equality, and why ruin that now? Allowing these athletes to compete poses a serious threat to the history of women's sports, because once you allow a transgender athlete to compete now, they have a serious advantage that can break and shatter records held by women in the past. And young women in the sports that see that, they feel down. They see those records. They feel that they can't reach those records, and then they doubt themselves, and they don't want to play anymore. In conclusion, this isn't about undermining transgender women, and this is a very serious and complicated topic. But at the end of the day, it's not about equality, it's about safety. And the real equality starts when they realize that women don't have the same physical capabilities as men. Thank you for listening, and today we talked about the equality, safety concerns, and also transgender women ruining the history of women's sports. Thank you.